I made this video because the most common response I get from people, I have a drone, I just don't know how to use it very well. Well, in fact, there's a lot that goes in behind it. You can buy a drone on many different marketplaces, Amazon, Target, Walmart, and they're all very capable. But if you're going to be using it for any type of commercial business, whether it's photography, to promote your website, anything of that nature, you need to have a Part 107 license from the FAA. Everything that leaves the ground, especially things for commercial use, such as aerial photography for real estate, is regulated by the FAA in one capacity or another, oftentimes facing local municipal regulation as well. The most common question I get is, how high will one of my drones go? Well, the legal answer is 400 feet. There are very few times operationally I've ever found the need to take a drone over 400 feet anyway. I have the slight advantage that I operate as an aircraft pilot for the last 30 years as well, so it does allow me to get some vantage points that the average person can't get. Here's a quick look at my credentials. If you have any questions though, feel free to send me an email or a text. Now I'm back to the program. There are many ways in which you can get your drone license or UAS pilot certificate from the FAA. I can also be contacted in some of that methodology as well. The next common question I get is, how far will your drones go? Well, I could take some of my drones over 10 miles away, but I can't do it legally because the Part 107 says I gotta keep it within line of sight. And although every one of my drones has at least one camera on them that has direct feedback to me, you can't utilize that as a methodology to keep it within line of sight. You physically have to have eyes on. With that being said, you got to be able to stay somewhat mobile throughout a flight, at least in my opinion. Some people stay stationary on a park bench, but I do like to keep my eyes on it. At the end of the day, that's my money sitting up there, so I don't want it to get wrecked. I have insurance, but I still don't want to go through the process. This footage here was shot at Club Med for one of my customers that was actually selling their boat. Which brings up a very common problem I see in other videographers, is that you will see themselves walking around with their controller in hand, looking like a dingbat right in the middle of the shot. Although it may not be evident, some people will pick up on it. Like in this case, there's me. Now we're going to talk about the safety aspect quick. People, airspace, and property. Drones have multiple spinning blades from 3 inches upwards of 15 inches, my largest, spinning around anywhere from 800 to 15,000 RPM. When any of those come in contact with flesh of any sort, human, bird, it's going to cause damage. Myself, I've gone to the hospital a couple times just from foolish mistakes handling my own drone. This is why it is important to know the limitations of your drone and the weather before you fly. Now we're going to get on to one of my favorite topics, airspace. Florida is full of different types of airspace. You have restricted, special use, bird sanctuary, class Bravos, Charlies, Deltas. You have Deltas that turned into Charlies from when I started learning how to fly, so I still get confused flying around sometimes, but it's full of all different types. The FAA recognized the fact that people are going to be using drones and small UAVs within the suburban environments, and they set up the LAANC system. As you can see on the chart here, there are a couple numbers located around the Stewart Airport, the 2 and 300 numbers. Within those areas, pre-authorization is relatively easy to obtain. However, if you are closer to the airport, in one of those closer suburban or business districts, authorization can take upwards of 30 days. But keep in mind how active the airspace is around here. Not only can you cause damage to a car, but you can cause damage to an aircraft coming in real easy. We've all seen planes flying low over the beach. Now they got their own laws and rules that they're following, or they should be. But a drone being ingested into any aircraft, even if it's a small little Lycoming or Continental engine, it is going to cause some damage. And you are going to be on the news and investigated, and not for the good things. When we're talking property, we're not talking just damage. However, keep in mind, drones flying around any buildings, people, places, especially cars, can cause quick and easy damage to a paint job or a window, roof, or a gutter. The military has fun names for spying. They call it pattern of life, POL, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, ISR, but at the end of the day, it's Big Brother up there watching. From a day-to-day standpoint, I have no interest in seeing what people have going on in their private lives, and I just want to do my job and go home. However, I understand the homeowners and business owners that look outside and look up and see a drone flying around. Not the first time I've had somebody out there throwing rocks at my equipment. What they don't realize is that you got $20,000 of equipment hung underneath the drone. So if you do opt to do it yourself, just be prepared to answer any and all questions from not only homeowners, but any law enforcement that is called. Now that you have a drone, or you have someone take pictures for you, what do? A few pictures here and there are fine and easy, but to make a whole video starts as a collection of random clips, some good, some bad, some you thought you took, some that you thought you didn't mean to, and then you have to add filters, transitions, depending on how good the original footage was, that all goes into play, will depend on how much time you have to put into the finished product. Some factors that go into play are the filters you put on the lens itself, the settings on the camera system, the type of camera, the zoom features, pitch and roll of the gimbal, if you even have a gimbal, and finally the usability of the editing program itself. I use a few different ones, not sold on one in particular, but a lot of it has to do with more of the industrial side of my business, in which some of the mapping abilities have to be integrated. But between Videoshop, DaVinci, and Adobe Rush, I can get most everything done in just a day or two. Granted, you can do a lot just on your phone these days. It really does make a lot of jobs just that much easier. For not every video is a full in-depth production and just needs insurance photos or strictly informational, not a beautifully produced display. Lastly, now that you have some photos, some video, the next question is, what do you do with it? I have photos in JPEG, RAW, 4K, 5K. I even have a camera that can do a 48 megapixel and blow up to 100-inch stills. And it's all fun and dandy, but you have to be able to put it somewhere. Gotta have a market. The key is to take pictures and video of the most pertinent highlights applicable to draw in as much interest as possible. Everybody's favorite topic, pricing. How much will this cost me? Obviously, the more you ask for, the more I, or anybody for that matter, will charge. However, there are several very important factors that can drive a price: date, location, and editing process. If there happens to be bad weather or a flight restriction where nobody can fly, such as presidential movement, sure, I can get approval for a specific time and day in certain areas, but not always the case. But all that results in financial impact for both myself and the customer. Whereas if I can wait a day or two on either side of the calendar, then there are no restrictions in place, and it's a great day for everybody involved. Contact me at www.vipuavs.com, vip.uav@aol.com, or text me at 646-VIP-UAVs. I want to say thank you for everybody watching.